You're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, 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 other than day one.
Donald Trump has successfully moved the Overton window in a way that is as dangerous for the future of democracy in this country as anything else.
This is what Vout and Project 2025 wanted.
Newsom is he's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great.
They control the Congress, they control the White House, and they control the courts. And so, of course, they're massively overreaching. And yes, they are getting away with it right now.
This is clearly a man who cannot tolerate criticism of him or what he does, which is exactly what authoritarianism is all about.
The New York Times is just as fake as CNN and MSDNC. They really are the enemy of the people.
What he is saying, rather bluntly, if you stand up to Donald Trump, he will punish you.
Protesters in Philadelphia, state capitals in California, Minnesota, Michigan, Texas, Wisconsin, Indiana, and others showed up to oppose Trump, Musk, and Project 2025.
US and President Trump has overseen America's largest military parade in decades as nationwide protests take place against his leadership.
Demonstrations are happening right across the United States today to oppose the Trump administration.
Two visions of America. On a day the country's deepening divide was there for all the world to see.
Welcome, everybody, to the show. I am Jeff Waldorf, and this is Logically Left, where I break down the news of the day from a Midwestern left perspective. So, and we've got a lot of news. We got a lot of disastrous news. But first, I hope everybody had a relaxing holiday. Certainly, we did not. Kind of watching the country slow walk itself into, well, not anymore, not much of a slow walk, but watching the country just like speed run into fascism. Not exactly the best way to spend your holiday or any day. Not to mention people with fireworks. I'm sorry, but when you're trying to sleep, when your wife's got to get up at 3 a.m. To go to work over the holiday weekend, fireworks, not exactly the best thing. So there's that too. But anyway, I do hope that the rest of you got a little bit of rest, because we've got a lot of work to do to fight against this regime. And I'm going to give you the stories here. That's going on. Look, over the weekend, disastrous flooding in Texas. I'm going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about the Trump reaction to it, as well as the conspiracy theories. Always fun. And then, of course, a conspiracy theory that is near and dear to my heart, the Epstein files. There has been a revelation in the fact that apparently there was no revelations. Very strange. We're going to look into that and get the MAGA reaction to it. Disaster. We've got more Trump voter FAFO related to immigration, the ICE raids, and then virtual slavery for migrant farm workers. So it's just really a lot of stuff going on here that is pretty disastrous. So if you haven't already, please like and share the stream. Very important that you do so. Support the show. Become a patron. Become a supporter. Thank you to all the patrons and all the supporters, all the members on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch that support the show. So thank you so much for that, and helping me continue to do what I do here, which is to depress the hell out of you. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. We'll start out here with the Texas floods. Oh boy. President Donald Trump appears to have a hearing issue, at least when he was asked about the horrific flash floods that happened over the weekend that killed at least 80 people. Around 40 others are still missing reported missing as of the most recent reports that I could find. Now, Trump spoke to reporters in New Jersey on Sunday, where he was challenged by critics who were quick to blame the death toll on the administration's disastrous budget cuts to the federal government, which include the National Weather Service. Take a look.
The Democrats are claiming hard federal cuts for the deaths over in Texas.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, selective hearing, I think. I mean, what? You couldn't hear that. To be fair, I mean, the plane in the background, but he never seems to do poorly with other questions with that plane noise in the background. So, interesting. Now, that said, later on, he was able to sort of answer the question. Again, sort of. He was asked later if he had plans to look into whether the cuts at the National Weather Service and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, left some key positions vacant. Trump and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick did answer. Here's that.
Some of the cuts to the federal government left key vacancies at the National Weather Service or in the emergency coordination?
No, they did not. They did. I'll tell you, if you look at that water situation that all is, and that was really the Biden setup. That was not our setup, but.
Oh, that was the Biden setup. That was not our setup. And he added, I wouldn't blame Biden for it. Wait, what? Except you just kind of did when you said it was his water setup, whatever that is. What does that mean? It was his setup for the water situation. What are you talking about? I don't understand. I don't understand at all. Okay.
One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Where the water rushes out to sea because you could never handle it.
I don't know. I think he's got water on the brain or something. I don't know, but he cannot answer a question about water without it going completely off the rails. Okay. Insane. But okay, look, that said, look, none of that matters. Okay, his answers, because MAGA now has the message. They're going to go and critically, uncritically say that, oh, yeah, no, it's Biden's fault. How? Well, it just is. It's Joe Biden. And then, they'll eventually fill in the blanks as to how they're going to blame Biden. He didn't do this thing, or he did that, or they're just going to make something up. And then they'll move on. That's it. That's how this is going to work. Because that's how it always works. There's more, by the way. Trump was then asked, okay, should the government hire some of the people back that it fired from the National Weather Service or the, NOAA, okay, that their whole job is to make sure that people get, warned and so that we have accurate weather reports, all that. Here's his answer for that.
Fired in the last few months?
I wouldn't know that. I really wouldn't. I would think not. This was the thing that happened in seconds. Nobody expected it. Nobody saw it. Very talented people are there, and they didn't see it. It's, I guess they said, once in 100 years, they've never seen anything like this. So I wouldn't, people are trying to blame the school. They're trying to blame the camp. They're trying to blame. It's just a horrible thing. But no, I wouldn't say that. No.
Wait, well, they wouldn't have seen it. They didn't see it. Maybe because they didn't. Maybe they didn't see it because they weren't there because they had been fired. I mean, that's a possibility, right? But that's not even the entire story here. The National Weather Service said it had conducted forecast briefings and issued warnings hours before floods came. In fact, the spokesperson for the agency told the Daily Beast, quote, flash flood warnings were also issued on the night of July 3rd and in the early morning of July 4th, giving preliminary lead times of more than 3 hours before flash flooding conditions occurred. So, all right, they did warn people. They warned people. All right. That said, the severity of the storms apparently was very unexpected. And why was that unexpected? Probably because they didn't have as much staff. Okay. Look, the reality of the situation is that this storm, they got months worth of rain within the space of a few hours. That is unprecedented. Okay. In the space of just 45 minutes on Friday morning, the Guadalupe River rose by 26 feet. And by then, there had been several flood warnings that were issued. Okay. On Wednesday, the Texas Division of Emergency Management, TDM, activated their state emergency response resources because of increased threats of flooding in parts of West and Central Texas. On Thursday afternoon, the National Weather Service issued a flood watch that highlighted Kerr County, Central Texas. It was really, really hard, as a place of high risk of flash flooding overnight. At 1:14 local time on Friday, flash flood warning was issued for Kerr County at 4:03 local time. An emergency flash flood warning was issued for Kerr County, followed by another for the Guadalupe River at 5:34. So, look, to be fair, the scientists, and the people at the National Weather Service did do their jobs, and that is despite the fact that they have been cut to the bone. And they got their warnings out. That said, people didn't realize the scope, while others didn't even receive those warnings. They were sent out, but that doesn't mean that people received them. That said, what about the staff shortages? Well, meteorologists have been rightfully expressing concerns about the reduced number of weather balloons that observe wind, relative humidity, and pressure above the ground. They're saying that the Trump and Musk budget cuts have resulted in about 20% fewer weather balloons being released, which of course will impact the accuracy of weather forecasting. And so, and by the way, when you hear about that, it's like, oh man, this less accurate now, then are you going to believe the flash flood warnings? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Now, in addition, the New York Times did report that critical positions of the National Weather Service were vacant on Friday morning. So how much of an impact that actually had, I cannot say for certain. Although I'm betting it did have an effect. Look, this to me, all of this, and excuse the pun, right? It feels like the perfect storm. You got budget cuts, for one, combined with extreme weather fueled by climate change during an administration that is run by climate deniers and also idiots. And look, in Texas, they don't really take the possibility of flooding very seriously. According to CBS News, transcripts of a meeting of the Kerr County Commissioner's Office discussed, okay? So there's transcripts where these people are discussing whether or not to install outdoor flood warning systems. And they did this several times within the last couple of years. Did they? No, they did not. Why? It costs too much money. Oh, okay. We got to save money. We got to save money. Well, what's the likelihood that this is going to happen? Oops. Oh, no. And that is despite the fact that this area is prone to flooding. Combine all of that, and you get what is essentially a disaster soup. Or maybe a disaster dumpling. I don't know. Let's not get into that. It's too close to dinner time. All right. Look, having Trump as president and Governor Abbott, leaders of the state and the nation, respectively, okay, having them as leaders when these disasters happen, and by the way, disasters do happen when stupid people are not in charge. Just saying. But when you have stupid people in charge, it makes those disasters that much worse, in my opinion. And yes, it's likely because of the policy. But also worse because of the response, or should I say, in a lot of cases, a lack of response. So yeah, there's that. Let's move on here. I'm not done with the Texas flooding. Oh no. Oh, I wish I was. Okay. MAGA has gone full conspiracy theory after devastating flash floods hit Texas, killing at least 80 people, including about 27 at a girls' summer camp. A really, really horrific situation. And yet, Candace Taylor, who is running to represent Georgia in the House of Representatives, posted this on X Saturday. Shoot. Fake weather, fake hurricanes, fake flooding, fake. Wow. And there you go. What the hell? I can't with these people. I can't do it. I can't. And by the way, she continued to double down, right? Later on, she posted her message saying, fake weather, real damage. Oh, okay. Oh, so now the damage is real, but the thing that caused the damage, that's fake. How does fake weather do real damage? I mean, the weather is pretty real, so, it's got to do actual damage. But again, that's where she dives deep into conspiracy land, saying, this isn't just climate change. Oh, here we go. It's cloud seeding, geoengineering, and manipulation. If fake weather, which is obviously real, causes real tragedy, that's murder. Pray, prepare, question the narrative. Question the narrative. What the hell? What is this? Why are you so freaking stupid? Why? Now look, she had to admit eventually that, okay, maybe this wasn't just fake weather, but yes, it actually happened, and yes, it's real damage and all that. But she was called out then for walking back her earlier post. And she responded by saying, quote, I'm not walking back a thing. No one can control the way you raging liberals twist words. Brainwash zombies. Now, hold on. Okay, you tell me what sounds more brainwashed, okay? Accepting the reality that a terrible storm happened that was described as once in a century, and we're having a lot of those, hitting Texas and causing horrific damage at a time where the federal government has cut services like the Weather Service and disaster preparedness, or believing that this was a geoengineered event somehow created in the middle of a Trump presidency. Weird how that happens since he's got control of the entire government. And that's after firing a whole bunch of people and replacing some of them, not all of them, but some of them with his own lackeys. How does that make any sense? How does this make any sense? This woman is insane and recently ran to be the governor of Georgia. That's right. But that's not all. Speaking of Georgia, okay, Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene had announced over the weekend that she would be introducing a new bill that would tackle weather modification. Ah, yes, that's right. The weather modification, because that is a real problem. The weather machines. Writing on X, Greene said that she was crafting legislation that would make the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere, the chemtrail conspiracy, for the express purpose of altering weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight intensity. A felony. That's right. We must end this dangerous, deadly practice of weather modification and geoengineering. So, let me get this straight. These people who have said that climate change is a hoax because you can't change the climate are introducing actual legislation to stop people from changing the climate? So, someone make this make sense, please. Georgia, you are not sending your best. But seriously, though, the reality is that climate change absolutely did play a role in this. According to Daniel Swain at the University of California, Los Angeles, a climate scientist, he noted that this kind of record-shattering rain caused by slow-moving torrential thunderstorms event is precisely that which is increasing the fastest in a warming climate. So it's not a question of whether climate change played a role. It's only a question of how much. Jeff Masters and Bob Henson also wrote on Saturday for Yale Climate Connections, many studies have confirmed that human-caused climate change is making the heaviest short-term rainfall events more intense, largely by warming the world's oceans and thus sending more water vapor into the atmosphere that can fuel heavy rain events. Sea surface temperatures this week have been as much as 1 degree Fahrenheit below the 1981 to 2010 average for early July in the western Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean, but up to 1 degree Fahrenheit above average in the central Gulf. Long-term human-caused warming made the latter up to 10 times more likely, according to the Climate Shift Index from Climate Central. So, look, storms, of course, happen when low pressure and high pressure or cold fronts meet warm fronts and all that stuff. That's a basic weather science 101, okay? Okay, so that kind of explains why the temperature differences of only 1 degree actually do make a pretty big impact, okay? Now, Bill McGuire, Professor Emeritus of Geophysics and Climate Hazards at University College London, said the tragic events in Texas are exactly what we'd expect in our hotter, climate-changed world. There has been an explosion in extreme weather in recent years, including more devastating flash floods caused by slow-moving wetter storms that dump exceptional amounts of rain over small areas across a short time. That is the reality, okay? This is not geoengineering. It's not chemtrails. It is the dumping of massive amounts of carbon dioxide, methane, and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere over a long period of time that does this and leads to a warmer planet, and warmer planets act more like this. Okay? And look, we know this. The fossil fuel companies know it. They have known it for decades, some even longer, and they don't care. And they don't care. And they pay off politicians to also not care. That's it. When it comes to conspiracy theories, the most simplest one explains this, and that is greed. Okay? That is greed. These companies are hiding the ball so that they can make more money. That's really it. And so I find it really, really crazy that people can believe all sorts of insane conspiracy theories and yet completely ignore what is literally right in front of their own eyes. Stupid. And there it is. Okay. More fun stuff. Oh boy. MAGA is melting down online after top Trump administration officials claim to have debunked the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy. Oh, Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino released a report saying that not only did Epstein not unalive himself, but that there was no blackmail of elites and no Epstein client list. Huh. Wait, that's weird. If there's none of that, then what the hell is this? What is this? What are they holding? And then a bunch of people literally holding the Epstein report, Epstein files. I mean, it's not like they haven't released anything, of course. They have. It's just stuff that we already knew. But by the way, not just that, what about all the tens of thousands of videos that she had hyped up, claiming that she had, or the alleged document dumps? I mean, what? They got dumps.
Dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Lots of dumps. But no, apparently not. Again, what about the client list that Bondi said was literally sitting on her desk.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
Oh, we're going to check back with you, okay? But you haven't found anything, even though it's on your desk, but you found nothing in it. I mean, okay. Oh, great. So it's on your desk, you're reviewing it, but then suddenly it doesn't exist. Well, how can it be on your desk if it's not real then? There's something shady going on here. Something shady, okay? Either she's been lying to us the entire time about the existence of the Epstein files, or and they never existed at all, and she was just lying, okay? Or they do exist and perhaps implicate some people who might not want to be implicated. That said, Trump supporters, QAnon adherents online, they're kind of pissed right now. Keith and Kevin Hodge, the Hodge twins, said Trump has to fire Pam Bondi. She went on camera and told the world she has the Epstein client list on her desk. Now they say there's no list. That's right. They said that there's no list. Laura Loomer put out a series of her own posts slamming AG Blondie, which, of course, calling her Pam Blondie. All right, there you go. I mean, not a bad diss. I just wish it didn't come from someone who looks like Jigsaw. Just saying. But nonetheless, she called Bondi a liar. Okay, takes one to know one, sure. Jack Posobiec called her out for failing to deliver, quote, after we were promised everything. Then we were promised everything and they didn't deliver. It's amazing how these people never realize that they have been lied, that they have been duped, okay? Then, of course, you've got former first buddy, Elon Musk, who posted this. There you go. We released the Epstein list. We just need more time. The Epstein list is on my desk. There is no Epstein list. Oh no. Tim Pool posted that Bondi is keeping the tens of thousands of child abuse videos for herself. Then you have conspiracy theorist Matt Wallace asking, should Trump fire Pam Bondi for lying about the Epstein files? MAGA influencer Chad Prather, who's among the right-wing figures who was actually given access to the batch of released Epstein documents that was holding them up, also said, where's the Epstein info the American people were promised? You handed us a notebook and promised more was on the way. You told us it existed, and now you say it doesn't. America deserves answers. So, look, here's the controversy, okay? Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is why they're not being released. If they exist, Donald Trump is in them. Okay, and now when I say he's in them, I'm not necessarily saying that I think he took part in abusing children, but I'm also not saying he didn't. I don't know. I wasn't there. Couldn't tell you. All I know is that when Trump was running the Miss Universe pageant, he would barge into the girls' dressing rooms, which would sometimes have underage girls in there changing. So am I buying that the client list does not exist? No, I think there is. And I think it involves many powerful people, some Democrats, I think many more Republicans. I'm just saying. Okay, that to me is a conspiracy theory that I do believe in. And I'm not someone who buys into a lot of conspiracies, okay? I debunk them all the time. But this one, I believe it. I believe that Trump and many other powerful Republican politicians, and yes, some Democrats, along with some bankers, corporate CEOs, industry titans, I believe a lot of those people were clients of Epstein. Again, when you have all that money and when you have all that power, I mean, no, they were definitely clients. Okay. And so, look, because of that, and because of the implications of all of this, the Trump administration Bondi, and the rest, I believe, are choosing to bury this. They didn't like what they found. Again, that's just what I believe. I don't have any evidence. Okay? I know I'm peddling a conspiracy. And maybe I'm wrong. But maybe I'm not. Okay. All right. Before I get into the next story here, please like and share the stream. Those of you who just came in. And please do that. And yeah, really, really appreciate it if you do so. Okay. Now let's move on. We have any video? Not on that one. Okay, cool. In what is yet another FAFO situation, had plenty of those. A Trump voting husband of a woman arrested by ICE is feeling some regrets. Yeah, a little bit. Cynthia Oliveira's husband, U.S. citizen and self-identified Trump voter Francisco Oliveira, told the California news station KGTV, quote, "We feel totally blindsided. I want my vote back. Ooh, sorry. But in this case, no takesies backsies, okay? Can't have it. Can't do it. Unfortunately, by the way, look, if you could, that would be great. But no takesies backsies, okay? Now, Cynthia, a 45-year-old mother of 3 U.S.-born children, was arrested while she was interviewing for her permanent U.S. residency. Now, she had been here since she was 10 years old. Her parents came from Toronto without permission. So, yes, she had been living here without documentation. Now, immigration didn't find out about it until she was about 19. And then, of course, they deported her. All right. Now, after being removed, however, she came right back. It's like, oh, you're not going to get me out of the country. Oh, hell no. I'm going to come right back. All right, well, in fact, when she came back, she said, quote, "They didn't even ask me for my citizenship. They didn't do nothing. They just waved me right in." Oh, okay. Okay. You know why that is? I mean, I'm just saying. Now, she comes back to the U.S. and actually spends about the next 25 years working in L.A., She paid taxes. She provided for her family that she had. And so, yeah, look, it's important to note that California, by and large, pays more into the federal government than many states, especially red states. So her tax money more than likely went to a Republican family in a red state. I'm just saying. And now, that said, look, yes, she came back illegally, okay, but had no criminal record. KGTV reported that its investigative team found no criminal charges under Cynthia's name. So now, that said, yes, she was deported once, came back. That's a no-no. But the Biden administration was like, you know what? She's not a criminal. And yeah, she shouldn't have came back after we kicked her out the first time. But again, that didn't have anything to do with being a criminal either. She wasn't like committing crimes or anything. So, you know what? We'll let it go. Okay. Here, we'll just give you a permit. We're going to give you a work permit. Okay. And we're going to let you try to get a green card. All right. Now, that was really nice of Joe Biden to do that. He didn't have to. He could have been like, no, screw you. You're out. Go back to Canada. Which, by the way, Canada, very nice place. So, I mean, you know, being deported there wouldn't be so bad. Wouldn't be so bad. Okay. But nonetheless, all right. Biden gives her legal ability to work here and the green card and all, or attempt to go get a green card. She hadn't gotten it yet. And okay. Now, that said, she's a Trump supporter. Her husband's a Trump voter. Notice how she's not a citizen, and so she didn't vote because non-citizens can't vote. Okay. But so he votes for Trump, even knowing that his wife is not a citizen. Now, you'd think that he might think, well, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't do that. You know, because he's promising mass deportations. But it turns out, of course, no. He told KGTV that Trump's promises to deport criminals, despite his own May 2024 conviction of felony falsification of business records, appealed to both Francisco and Cynthia. And by the way, talking about Trump's felonies, okay, not Francisco's felonies. I don't know. I don't think he has them. But anyway, he did not believe that she would be affected by this. Except, you know, she was totally affected by it. Of course. On June 13th, she was detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents when she went for her green card interview in Chatsworth, California. Oops. Oliveira has since been transferred to an ICE detention center in El Paso, Texas to await deportation. On June 13th, I'm sorry, I already said that. Speaking to KGTV over a video call from the El Paso facility, Oliveira suggested that her treatment was not deserved. I didn't deserve this. The U.S. is my country. That's where I met my husband. That's where I went to high school, junior high, elementary. That's where I had my kids. Oh, you mean the kids that might not be U.S. citizens anymore because Donald Trump doesn't believe in birthright citizenship? You really didn't think about this, did you? No thought whatsoever. Nothing in those empty heads. Nothing. Look, the Trump administration, through a spokesperson, did say in a statement, quote, Cynthia is an illegal alien from Canada. Oliveira had been previously deported and chose to ignore our law and again illegally entered the country, said the spokesperson's statement, as reported by Newsweek. The statement noted that re-entering the U.S. without permission after being deported is a felony and said that Oliveira would remain in ICE custody pending removal to Canada. Now, what's funny is that this family is like, wait, well, look, why don't you just release her and we'll fly her to Canada? If you want to kick her out that bad, okay, we'll fly her out ourselves. And the administration's like, no. What do you do? No, we're going to keep her in ICE detention, you know, because ICE detention, they like to fill them beds, okay, with people exactly like her, by the way, people who aren't going to cause any trouble, and they get fat government contracts for that. So, no, they're going to keep her in as long as they can so they can keep getting paid. These prisons. Come on. You should know that. I mean, it's not like I haven't reported on that. It's not like lefty news. Oh, right. That's the problem. You see, the lefty news, we report on all that stuff because it's actually happening. But they're right-wingers, so of course they don't see any of that happening, and they think, oh, we'll be fine. Oh, no, we'll be okay. No, he's just going after the criminals and the... Oh, no. Uh-oh. Well, shoot. And there it is. Now, Francisco, for his part, said, quote, my wife, up until a couple of weeks ago, was a strong believer in what was going to happen the next 4 years. Which is what? Going to make America great again? Which, by the way, that's a ripoff of Ronald Reagan. Trump couldn't even come up with his own slogan, right? Ripping off Ronald Reagan. Make America great. And then he's just like, I don't know. Let's just put again on it and call it good. Yeah, that's it. Oh, okay. And there you go. That not an original thought in that man's head. My God. Okay. But anyway, back to her. So, wait, what did you think was going to happen the next 4 years? That everybody else that you don't like is going to get deported, but you are somehow going to be safe? I guess. Didn't work out now, did it? Nope. Didn't work out. They always believe that someone else is going to suffer. And then, of course, when it happens to them, like we said it would, they all go shocked Pikachu face. I didn't think it was going to happen. Oh, no. How could this happen to me? Now, Oliveira told KGTV, quote, "The only crime I committed is to love this country and to work hard, provide for my kids." Now, you know what you did? You and your husband supported a fascist that promised to hurt people and to rip families apart. And you know what? Now he's doing just that. He's doing it. And you're a victim now? No, you're not. You're not a victim, okay? No, you're just getting the day that you voted for. Or, well, that your husband voted for. Okay. Oh my goodness. Last story already. Jeez. Boy, this show went especially fast today. All right. Realizing that the ICE raids on farms are setting up a gigantic disaster for our economy and our food supply, President Donald Trump has shared a new proposal which would allow migrant farm workers facing deportation to remain in the country.
And we're going to do something. We're working with Christie, and we're going to do something that we're going to sort of put the farmers in charge. And if a farmer's been with one of these people that work so hard, they bend over all day. We don't have too many people can do that, but they work very hard and they know them very well. And some of the farmers are literally, they cry when they see this happen. If a farmer is willing to vouch for these people, in some way, Christy, I think we're going to have to just say that's going to be good, right? We're going to be good with it. We got to work with the farmers and people that have hotels and leisure properties too. We're going to work with them, and we're going to work very strong and smart. And we're going to put you in charge. We're going to make you responsible. And I think that that's going to make a lot of people happy.
We're going to put the farmers in charge. Oh, okay. So that if the farm worker is good and productive, they can stay. But if not, you're gone. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is pretty close to slavery, but not quite, because I would say it's more of an indentured servitude. I mean, think about it. If you want to be in this country, well, then you better serve your farmers, right? So that they can vouch for you. Okay, you better serve them. You better serve them well. I think anybody can see that this situation, of course, puts all the power into the hands of the employer. And by the way, it's not just farmers. You also said that this would apply to hotels and leisure properties. Like, I don't know, golf courses? Imagine that. Yeah, so look, obviously these farm workers, they wouldn't be citizens. They also wouldn't have any labor protections. And their entire ability to stay in this country would hinge on the ability of them to make their bosses happy. Meaning, of course, they will not take time off. They will not complain about the conditions. They will not complain about the pay. And if they do get hurt, if they get injured doing these back-breaking, dangerous jobs, well, then they're gone. Well, we don't have to take care of that. Oh, woo, dodge that bullet, right? Oh, now don't have to pay disability. We just send them back to wherever they came from. Ah, it's a great arrangement if you're a farmer. Not so much if you're a worker, if you're a migrant worker, which really is the point. That is the point of this entire thing. Okay, look, obviously they don't want migrants to have rights. That's it. And that's, by the way, the conditions that they will allow migrants to remain in this country, as if they have no rights. They have no rights, no recourse, nothing, and dutifully do the labor that American citizens don't want. This entire thing gives away the game. Again, they're against equality with immigrants. They don't want immigrants to embrace their own culture or celebrate their own cultures when they're here. All they want is a cheap, exploitable workforce so that they don't have to spend money on groceries. At least not that much. Okay? Again, the entire push here against immigration is not about jobs. It's not about crime. It's never been about any of that. It has always been about keeping white people on top and everybody else on the bottom. That's it. That's what it's always been about. Always will be about.
The Republican Party's racist.
Man, I'm not sure what else I can add to that. Not much. Not much. Okay. Yes, it sounds like indentured slaves to go with the debt slaves the rich have now. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Okay. So before I go, I do want to read some comments here. There's a lot of good comments here. And so much for law and order, more like BS and lies. True. Let's see. Guy's wife got deported and he was left with the 2 children they had. He voted for Trump and said he still supports Trump. Yes, I believe I talked about that. Wasn't that the Iranian Trump voter? Can someone please tell me what FAFO means? I'm old. Sure. It basically stands for F around, find out. So, you mess around, you find out. And so that's what a lot of these Trump voters, people who supported him, believe the lies or believe that it wasn't going to affect them. They effed around by voting for this guy. And now they're finding out that, oh, it turns out I don't like what I voted for. Oops. So there's that. The leopards are feasting. Absolutely. The leopards are going to have to get on Ozempic and Wegovy pretty soon if they already haven't. Let's see. I hear she's been moved several times. Yeah. A lot of these people that are in ICE detention do get moved around a lot. And sometimes they get just lost. It's really bad. Let's see. Is the list in Trump's bathroom or being used as toilet paper alongside the Constitution? Could be. Maybe it was next to those files that he had taken from the White House and hid in his bathroom. Oh, he would vote for Trump tomorrow without thinking twice. It is very possible. Very possible indeed. Let's see. Could tell you the fun theories about whether or not the Emperor of Mankind is still alive. I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to Warhammer. He's all over those files about his best friend at the time. Yes, Epstein at the time. Definitely, they were close. Certainly. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of great fun comments from you all. So thank you for that. Let's see. Don't forget the prison slaves. Oh yeah, and by the way, slavery is still legal in the United States, and I think that's what you're pointing at, and saying, because it is legal for prisons to employ prisoners as slaves, and that is the carve out here that that they're using, like the 14th Amendment. I mean, slavery not banned completely. You just got to be, in prison for you to be a slave. So this country, some days. I mean, and how can you celebrate Independence Day and freedom when we have a country where you can still be legally enslaved if you're a prisoner? I mean, it's really disgusting. So yeah, absolutely disgusting. For-profit prisons, yes, absolutely. Okay, so prisoners could make the iPhones. Don't give them any ideas. Do not give them any ideas. All right, so let's see. This Flume85 over on Twitch says, sounds like she hasn't started reviewing it, the Epstein files. She seems like a one-page kind of gal. Let's see. It wouldn't surprise me considering his history with minors. Yes, absolutely. So there's that. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Join me tomorrow, same time, same place. I'll have plenty more dumpster fire disaster stories, to share with you. But if you haven't already, please like and share. Very important. Helps out the show greatly. Consider becoming a member, or consider becoming a patron. I only got here, missed most of the show. That's all right. That's why there's a seek and a rewind button. So, or you can wait for the videos to come out if you're so inclined, or you can listen to the show over on our Patreon page. Sorry, ad free and free to everybody. So I'm trying not to paywall my stuff. All right. I obviously I need supporters. Need people to sign up and support the show, because it's a bit rough out here. But at the same time, I don't want to paywall my stuff, because I think it's important for people to see it. So, and for people to listen. And so, if you want to, patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, you can listen to, a library of all the different shows in audio format. So you can listen to them without having to pay anything. Okay, no paywall. Just go in, download it, listen to it, whatever. And hopefully share it, and consider becoming a patron to support what I do. And that's all I'm asking. So, sign up if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. But if you can, help the show. And that's just, one of the ways that you can support what we're doing here. Independent progressive media. It's very, very important. But anyway, thank you all for listening and liking and sharing and all of that wonderful stuff. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here. Our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and our Twitch channel, all that wonderful stuff. So hopefully see you all tomorrow, and have a good rest of your day / afternoon or evening, wherever you're at. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you later.